Oh, welcome to Flow with Chrissy. This time we are going to be focusing on a little bit of a slow flow. So, regardless if you are just recently out of surgery where you have clearance from your doctor, or if you're going through chemo and you're kind of having a slow day, or just kind of feeling a little achy or not feeling great, this would be a great practice for you. Or even if you're not going through any type of treatment right now and you're just kind of feeling a little run down, maybe this will be a really nice practice for you. We're just going to focus on moving our bodies, connecting to our breath, connecting to our bodies, and just ultimately really creating this nice relationship with our bodies and understanding and awareness, and just being present. So let's get started on our backs. And I'm going to offer you to have a couple of blocks, maybe a strap. I don't think we'll use the myofascial release balls, but you can always have them handy, because anything that we do, you can always kind of incorporate these every now and then. So you could just kind of have your props handy. And when you're ready, go ahead and come on down to your back. And when you make your way to your back, you can either arrive at a Shavasana positioning, or you can come into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly, with or without the blocks. I'm going to take the blocks situation, and I'm just going to rest them underneath my thighs and let the blocks support my legs and just make it a little bit more restorative. Move the shoulder blades out from underneath you, really allowing yourself to take up space and just allow the hands to rest wherever they feel most comfortable. If you recently had surgery, your hands kind of keeping them a little bit closer to your body might feel good. And also keep in mind you can lay on a blanket if it doesn't feel good to be completely lying flat. You can go ahead and lay on a blanket or on a bolster. Whenever you get to a positioning that feels good, just allow yourself to close the eyes, naturally allowing just the wiggles and the little movements to subside and allowing yourself to find stillness. Just simply taking a few moments to settle in, giving your body the time and the space to slow down, to receive the stillness. Life is so busy. We are just constantly doing, whether we're doing and going or we're looking at our phone and our brains are constantly on. So sometimes it takes a hot moment to just settle in, to relax, to surrender, and to remove any external distractions. You come to that place, bring your attention and awareness to your third eye, space between your eyebrows, the center of our intuition and our inner guidance. And as you start to bring your attention into this space, we ignite or deepen our relationship to our intuition. Now, take the time to use your mind's eye to start to navigate throughout your body. Like a little flashlight going inward, taking the time to just simply notice how you're showing up today. So maybe physically, you might feel heavy, energetically as well. But I want you to notice, where are you holding tension or stress, and see where you can soften and relax and surrender. Some areas that typically come up could be the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, feeling them melt into the surface underneath you. Maybe the hips and the pelvis. Re- Relaxing and inviting in the stillness, the surrender, the softness to our bodies. And just start to notice the gentle and natural rise and fall of the belly. The breath flows in, the breath flows out. You feel that rise and fall. Maybe the more attention you give it, it starts to become a little deeper, a little longer, slowly inviting in these intentional breaths. Take a longer inhale, feel the belly rise, the lungs, the heart. We pause at the top and exhaling and just completely emptying out the lungs and the belly. Taking a few cycles of breath here to start to help and regulate our nervous system, inviting in this present moment. And then, if and when it feels right or you feel called to, you can either keep your hands belly and heart, both the heart or both the third eye. You take what you need here. Give meaning to your practice today, right here, right now, by setting your intention or an affirmation or mantra in your mind. And if your mind starts to wander to thought, to fear, to doubt, to anything outside of the moment, rein it back in with this breath and your intention. And then on the next inhale, slowly release the hands to the earth. Go ahead and bend into those knees, taking the soles of the feet to the earth. If you had your blocks by your side, you can move them off to the sides, but keep them close by. And just start to windshield wiper those knees from side to side, letting them rock from side to side, releasing into the low back. And then the next time they fall all the way over to the right, take a gentle belly twist. You can either stay with the gaze up to the ceiling or maybe take it down past that left arm. Once again, hands can stay close to you or you can extend them out like a T. Reminding to be gentle with the body, listening to how the body communicates back to you or sends you senses or signals. To make sure that you're gifting yourself exactly what you need and not going past your edge and not pushing yourself too far. We want this practice to be helpful and grounding and peaceful and not forcing or pushing. On the next inhale, bring the knees back to center, let them fall to the left. Option to switch your gaze to the right. Maybe extend that right arm out long. Breathing in, and breathing out. Keeping both shoulders grounded to the earth as we take this gentle low body twist. Beautiful stretch through the low back and into that right hip. On the inhale, gently come back to center. And we'll go ahead and hug both knees into the chest. Maybe wrap your hands around the shins, gently rock from side to side. And flex and point your ankles, your feet circling the ankles around. And then maybe circle the knees around like turntables, circling them in opposite directions. And then you can reverse the circles. Juicing up those hips a little bit. And then we'll keep the right knee into the earth. We'll extend that left leg long onto the earth. So a half wind relieving pose. Thigh bone pressing in towards that right rib cage, maybe the outer part of the rib cage if that feels good. And flex the left foot, making it nice and active. And then when you're ready, inhale, release the hands around the right shin and just start to straighten and bend the leg a few times. So it's just pumping the leg. You're not necessarily looking for that straight leg just yet. We will come to that in a moment. And then when you're ready, inhale, reach the leg straight on up. Option to take your strap and wrap it around the ball of the foot and just take it into both hands if the reaching for your arms just doesn't feel good. Okay. If you have the extension in the low back and hamstrings, you can also just walk your hands anywhere up on the back of that leg, as long as the head, neck, and shoulders stay melting to the earth. And again, we're not forcing or bringing tension in, we're softening and relaxing into this. I'm going to actually use the strap for this at the moment. It feels good. It feels a little bit more helpful and restorative. So flexing those right toes back, really feeling the heel reach to the ceiling. So we feel the lengthening of the back line of that right leg, and we feel a little contracting of the quad and the hip flexor of the right. Take the inhale. We'll draw that right leg out to the right, but keep the left side grounded. Maybe the strap stays in your hand, or maybe you wrap the hand around the calf. Totally up to you. Breathing into the inner theme of that right leg. And then we'll inhale, bring the leg back to center. Take the strap or the leg in the left hand and just let that leg cross over. IT band stretch. Oh, you can play around with this. I like to do a little both. You can flex the right foot. Notice how that feels in the calf, the Achilles, the back of the knee. And then maybe point the foot and notice that really nice stretch to the top of the foot. And again, you can play with the two, maybe pausing for one or the other. Keeping that right hip and right shoulder slightly grounded, and the breath flowing in and out. Inhale, come back to center. We'll come into a little half happy baby. Strap back into that right hand or reach for the ankle or outer blade of that right foot as you slide the inner thigh towards the right rib cage. Nice lengthening to the low back. One more breath here. Nice full inhale and exhale. On the inhale, release the strap, reach that right leg back up towards the ceiling, and exhale, lower it all the way down to meet your left. Taking a moment and just kind of let the legs fall naturally as they do. And just take a moment to experience how it feels, the right leg versus the left leg. What's the difference? Is there anything different from right to left, front to back, side to side? And then we can balance it out. So let's go ahead and pull that left knee into the chest. Take the hands maybe around the shin and just come into that half wind relieving pose. Trying to keep the chin slightly tucked towards your chest to keep that nice long spine. Flex and point your right ankle, circle the ankle around. Remember, everything is just options. You always get to choose what feels good in your body. And then maybe circle the whole thigh bone around the hip joint. And then reverse. So this practice really can be done in the morning. It could be done midday, late at night. And then we'll kind of just straighten and bend that leg a few times. Doesn't matter how straight it goes, just a pumping sensation, just trying to kind of induce a little lymphatic flow in the back of the leg. And then we'll take your strap around the ball of the foot or your hand for the hamstring, calf, big toe, wherever you could take it without bringing tension to the body, maintaining this hamstring stretch. So the left leg is as straight as it can be. The foot is flexing back, and you're just gently trying to draw the leg in as close as you can. Ease into it. And then on your next inhale, we'll allow the leg to float out to the left, that inner thigh stretch here, keeping that right side grounded, rooted to the earth, and a nice strong right leg as well. Breath is still long, fluid, but yet soothing and calming, helping to regulate your nervous system, making it nice and safe in the body. As we inhale, we'll pull the leg back to center and take the strap or the leg into that right hand. Allow that leg to cross over to the right and just come into the IT band stretch. It's not a full twist. We don't need to take the leg all the way over to the right and allow it to touch the floor. We just really want to feel this stretch kind of wrapping from the top of the hip. You might even feel a little into the low back towards the knee, the outer part of the leg. And then we'll inhale, pull it back to center, and we'll come into half happy baby. Reach your left hand for again, either the strap as you bend into the knee, slide the thigh towards the ribs, or reach for the outer blade of that left foot or your ankle. Now, I didn't cue this on the other side, but if that opposite leg doesn't feel good straight, you can always bend it into that kind of half, just sole of foot to the earth knee, or you can stay into that butterfly. You take what you need out of it. And then inhale, slowly release, remove the strap, reach the leg back up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower it all the way down to the earth. Take a moment here. Now start to witness the change and the shift in the body. Notice how it feels. Any new sensations or signals or communications coming up in your body. And then we'll take the next inhale to slide your feet to the earth. Knees are pointing to the ceiling, and your hands can hang out by your sides. So we're going to take 3 bridge roll ups from here. On the inhale, ground down through the feet. Slowly start to boost those hips up off of the earth. They can come up maybe an inch or two or a few. Shoulder blades staying rooted and grounded. Inhale and exhale, lower yourself all the way back down. And again, ground down through the feet. Inhale, articulating the spine off of the earth. And then as you exhale, melting each vertebrae back down to the earth. And one more here. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower all the way back down. Keeping your hands by your sides on the inhale, go ahead and lift your legs into a reverse tabletop position. So your knees are in alignment with your hips and your ankles, somewhat in alignment with your knees and shins. They may be up a little higher, that's fine. We're going to take a little bit of a core walk here. Drop your right toes down to the earth and then exhale, lift them back up. And your right toes and lift them back up. Now hold here for a moment. That's all that the legs are going to do. But what I want you to do is I want you to really engage your core and create what I call a corset core to really engage the abdominals and the core here. So pull your navel to spine. Your low front ribs, the floating ribs, are going to float down and your hip bones are going to scoop up slightly. Really, what's happening is just you're just elongating and neutralizing the pelvis to engage the core and lengthen the back. Now, keeping this corset core here, you should feel that active even with just the knees lifted like this. Now, let's take it for a walk once again. Lower the toes down with keeping this corset core. Exhale, lift. Inhale down, exhale, lift. And just start to alternate from side to side, touching the toes down. And we're going to stay here with this movement. And if you want to, you can take the toes out a little bit further. That's going to be a little bit harder. Keep the chin slightly tucking towards the chest. If it feels better and you want to try to touch both toes at the same time, you certainly can do that. Again, not splaying out the core, releasing that core work there. You can also take and extend the legs out to hover and then pull them back in. Inhale out, exhale in. Let's do four more. For four, for three, for two, and one. Hug those knees in. Maybe lift your head and your shoulders if that feels accessible. Rolling yourself into a tight ball. Maybe wrapping your hands around your shins. Nice big hug here. And then we'll inhale, slowly release down, roll over to one side or the other. If you had, worked on one side, you might want to go to the opposite side. And then you're going to kind of use the hand to help lift you up and then come into a seated position. So just coming into any comfortable seats, whichever shin bone in front feels good, and take a moment and just close the eyes and just allow for the blood flow to make its way down, softening and feeling the sense of grounding. The palms can be face down or face up, and breathing down into your root, space just above the pelvic floor. Simply taking another breath here. On the inhale, bring the arms out as high as you can. For some of you, it might be here, might be here, it might be here. And then exhale, lower your hands down. Take them slightly back behind you, fingertips to the earth, and drop your chin slightly down towards your chest. Inhale, drop your right ear down towards your right shoulder. Breathing into the left side of the neck. Drop your chin down towards the chest, and then take your left ear all the way over. Breathe into the right side of the neck. Inhale back to center, and then bring your head all the way back up. Well, once again, take the arms out and take them out into like a cactus. Spread those fingertips nice and wide. And then just kind of move those arms. I just looked at myself and I realized how off I was. So take those arms out to shoulder distance here. We're going to inhale, lift, and then exhale. Take your left hand over to your right hand, twist to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale, right hand to the left, twist to the left. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, open. Exhale. One more time, each side. Inhale, open. Exhale and twist. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, open. Lower your right fingertips to the earth. Either take your hand to your shoulder or reach the arm up to the ceiling. Take a side body lateral stretch here. So stay rooted and grounded in that left sits bone as you breathe into the left side of the body. Inhale, rise, taking a twist. Take that hand to your right knee and walk those right fingertips back behind you. Again, soften the shoulders, twisting from the upper back now. Remember that gentle twist that we took in the beginning was focusing a little bit more on the low back, where the hips were the show of it and our shoulders were squared and grounded. The hips are now grounded and we're taking the twist from the upper body. Good. And then inhale, slowly unwind. We'll take a little counter twist. Hands will float over to the left and just gently bow down. Bring that fresh blood and oxygen towards the spine. Good. And then inhale, take the arms up. And then exhale, lower your left fingertips down. Your right hand's going to come to either to your shoulder or reach it as far as you can, right? Don't push it, but just recognize where your edge is. Breathing all along now the right side of the body. So with this movement, the breath, the stretching, we're looking to really create space in our bodies, Get the lymph flowing. Inhale, lift, and then we'll take a gentle twist. Your right hand will come to the left knee and you'll walk those left fingertips back. We're looking to hydrate our fascia, and we're looking to create a beautiful connection and conversation with our mind and our body. As you take your next inhale, we'll slowly unwind. The hands will float over to now your right, and you'll gently bow down. Nice little counter twist here. Good. And then inhale, slowly come back up. We'll take the hands back behind you, soles of the feet to the earth. Just gently windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Good. And then we'll come all the way up. Let's come into a tabletop position. So bringing your hands directly underneath your knees. You can also, if it doesn't feel good, keep your blocks handy. You can always take your hands to your blocks or coming down to your forearms too, if that feels a little bit better. Just options, right? You get to explore the best expression that is for you. Now, think about drawing the navel to spine. Your hips are over your knees, your hands are over or hands are under your shoulders. On the inhale, just a few cat cows. Let the tailbone lift, belly draws down to the earth, the heart lifts forward. Exhale from the tailbone, the pelvis, rounding through the spine, chin to the chest, cat spine. Two more like that. Inhale, rolling through to your cow. Exhaling, pulling back into your cat. One more time here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back to neutral. Two options here. You can tuck your toes and start to sit back onto your heels. For some of us, if we have really tight fascia in our feet, this might be a little too intense. If it is, you can always lift up a little bit higher and just kind of play with how much pressure you put onto it, or you can just point your feet and sit down. If your knees really aren't feeling it today, you can also sit on a block as well, or roll up a mat if that feels better and just kind of rest it, jam it behind the kneecaps. But I want you, I'll show you from a front view. We're just going to sit back, take your hands into a fist, and just start to circle your wrist around. Just going from side to side. Good. And then pause for a moment, take and flip your palms towards me. And then exhale, coming into a cat spine once again. Drop your chin to the chest as you reach those arms forward. We'll inhale, reach the arms up as much as you can. For some of us, it might be here. Again, for some of us, it might be here. You choose. Exhale, take and round. So we're going to do just another expression of cat-cow. Inhale, rise, feel the tailbone float back, maybe head falls back. Exhale, round. Be okay with your range of motion. Inhale, rise. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back to neutral. Release, shake out those arms. And then we're going to come back to our tabletop position. So we're going to come into a little spinal balance. So take your right leg back behind you, ball of the foot to the earth first, and just kind of do a little rock and roll. And notice how this feels in the shoulders and just feel that extension of that right leg. And then we're going to lift it to hip height. Inhale, reach that arm up. If you can, maybe extend the left arm straight forward. That might not feel a little too unstable. So you can always take your block and reach your left hand still forward, but on a block for a little bit more stability. Okay. So inhale from here. If the hand is on the block, keep it there. We're all going to move our knee to chest. Exhale, pull the knee in. Inhale, extend like you're moving through mud. Nice, slow and controlled exhale. If you're moving the arm too, really feel that extension as you inhale, that opposition, and exhale as you pull in. Good. Two more. Inhale to elongate. Exhale to contract. One more. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, lengthen it out. Lower the hand down. And exhale, you're going to step that right leg outside of your right hand. Maybe you use your blocks, okay? And you can take your knees and inch your knee back a little bit as we come into a lizard lunge. So we're pulling our heart forward here. Hands can stay onto the block. Allow that right knee to float out to the right. So roll to the outer blade of that foot and just kind of let the knee fall out to the side. And then exhale, gently use those adductors to pull it back into center. Okay. Inhale, roll it out. Maybe let the hips sink just a little bit. And then exhale, pull it in. Feel that core contraction and the knee pull in. One more. Inhale out. Exhale, pull it in. We're going to keep that left hand down to the earth. Maybe reach that right hand to shoulder or reach it up to the ceiling. Okay, so again, where's your range of motion today? Be okay with it. Maybe extend it out. Twisted dragon, modified twisted dragon. And then inhale, slowly lower down. So listen to where we're going to go. This might get a little tricky. You're going to kickstand that left leg. You're going to take your hands with or without the block to the back of your mat. So the left knee and shin is down. You're going to straighten that right leg as much as you can. Maybe take your right hand to the hip, to the shoulder, or up to the ceiling for a modified side plank pose. Left hand can be to the block, or it could be all the way down to the floor. We're going to inhale, lift and stack the spine, and then just simply take your hands straight in front of you. Okay. And then from here, take your hands with or without those blocks and drop down to your forearms. Okay. So very similar to what we were doing before, a couple rounds of cat cow. Hands or forearms can be to the blocks. Inhale here, exhale and round. Inhale, moving into your cow spine. Exhale, pressing up and into your cat. One more time here. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, come back to center. Come back up to those palms. We're going to take it back to that low right lunge at the top of your mat. So frame off that front foot once again. This time, tuck your toes. Use your blocks, especially if your body's a little icky and funky today. If your joints aren't feeling that great, you're going to tuck the back toes. You're going to step that left foot up to meet your right and come into just a forward fold. So if that's accessible, if you just kind of had surgery, you might want to come all the way up to stand and just kind of hang here for a moment. If you can take a half fold, you can hang out halfway, or you can take your full fold. Taking a moment to feel both of your feet grounding into the earth. And then we're going to slowly come all the way up to stand. And then rolling those hands, the shoulders down and away from those ears, and hands hang out by your sides. Take a couple of breaths here, maybe close the eyes, feel this sense of grounding, thinking about your attention, your mind's eye, bringing it down to your feet and really plugging in with the big toe mound of your feet, your pinky toes of your feet, and your heels. Bringing that core back in just to elongate in the spine. And then inhale, either sweep your arms all the way up or just bring them to your heart space. And we'll exhale, swan or bow all the way back down. You're going to keep your right foot where it's at. You're going to step your left foot all the way back. Walk your hands back so you're framing off that front foot. We're going to take 3 lunge pulses here. Inhale and exhale, straighten through both legs. Even if you just hang out halfway, cool. Inhale, bend. Exhale, maybe you bow a little bit further. One more time, inhale and exhale. Inhale, bend back into the knee. Drop the back knee down and send that right foot back to meet your left and sit back either into a child's pose or into a kneeling position you choose. I'm just taking a few moments here. I love the moments of pause, the in between of the work, the doing. We find the stillness, the being. This is the time where we get to become curious. How is the body starting to adapt to the breath, the movement, the dedication, the connection? How is your body starting to speak to you? Some days it's in love and compassion. Some days it's like, oh, I hurt and I ache, and that's okay. Meet yourself where you are. On your next inhale, we'll slowly come back to our tabletop. Okay, again, make sure that you kind of have your blocks handy. This time, we're going to extend our left leg back behind you. Take the ball of the foot to the earth and just start to rock forwards and backwards a few times. Just pressing out through that heel. Nice little calf stretch here. And then we'll come back to that starting position, lift the left leg, and you can opt to lift the right arm forward or take that block forward and have the hand on the block. Okay, a little bit more support. Take your inhale here and either just pull the left knee into the chest or include the right arm. Inhale, lengthen it out. We're taking 5 of these. Exhale, pull it in. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale in. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, contract it in. Last one, inhale and exhale. Inhale, lengthen it out. And then exhale, step that foot outside of that right hand with or without your blocks. Walk the body forward and shift those hips forward. So we're in a lizard lunge. Hands can be to blocks or to the earth or forearms to blocks, completely up to you. Okay. This is where we're going to kind of do that external rotation. We're going to inhale, rotate that left leg out, let the hips sink maybe just a smidge. And then exhale, use that adductor to pull it in back to center. Notice how active that becomes. Inhale, roll it out for a nice little stretch and release. And exhale, pull it in. And then one more. Inhale, open it out. Exhale, in. We'll keep your right hand down to the earth. We'll reach that left arm either to your shoulder or to the sky or anywhere in between. Nice little modified twisted dragon lunge here. Good. And then we'll inhale, lower the hand back down. You're going to kickstand the right leg. You're going to take that right hand all the way back to the back of your mat, and left arm can come to sky. So your right hand can be to block or floor. Okay. Right hand block or floor, left arm, shoulder or sky, or maybe even bicep to ear. Nice little modified side plank pose. And then we'll inhale, slowly lift. And then you're going to take your hands straight underneath you. So just kind of right underneath those shoulders, any height of the blocks, or don't use the blocks at all. Or you can bring your hands, forearms to the blocks. I like the forearms for some reason or another. The cat cow feels really, really good like this. So as you inhale, we'll take 3 cat cow. Let the heart pull forward. And then as you exhale, feel that scooping up and in. Inhale, moving into your cow. Exhaling up and into cat with these gate legs. One more time here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, come back to neutral. And then come all the way back up with or without those blocks. We're going to take it, actually bring the blocks with you. We're going to take it back into that low left lunge. So the left foot comes forward. We kickstand that right leg back underneath us. Okay. And then we're going to tuck the right toes, lift the knee off of the earth, and step that right foot up to meet your left. Halfway lift, hands can slide up to the shins. You take your depth of fold that feels good for you. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. You can either just bring your hands to heart or sweep the arms out and up. And then exhale, bring them into your heart space. And then inhale, just like we did before we step back once again, just like we did seated. Inhale, take those arms out to cactus. And then exhale, twist to the right. Try not to move your hips too much. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, open and exhale. Last one, each side. Inhale and exhale. And last one here. Good. Inhale, either reach the arms up or just let them come to your heart. Exhale, swan or bow all the way back down to your forward fold. Inhale, lift up, halfway lift. Step your right leg all the way back. Drop the back knee down, coming in back into that Anjaneyasana. And then you're going to walk your hands back, shift your hips back, and let that left knee come back to your right and come into your child's pose or into your kneeling position if child's pose just doesn't feel good. For some reason or another, for me today, kneeling feels really good. So always knowing that the more connected we are to our bodies and to our essence, the more that we understand that we have the power to choose what feels fully aligned with us or for us. Okay, so on and off the mat, tapping into our own intuition and making decisions from an aligned and intuitive place. Taking another breath or two here. Inviting in the intentional breaths, grounding breaths to appreciate the stillness. On the next inhale, slowly blink the eyes open. Let's come back to our tabletop with our blocks. Let's actually shift back and we're going to come up to a standing position. So you can come to your knees, maybe shift the hips back. I love this kind of bowing sensation, letting the heels melt to the earth. It may be a little too tense on your spine, you choose. And then exhale, come all the way up to stand. Okay. Reaching the arms overhead as we inhale. And as we exhale, we bring our hands to our heart space. Inhale, bring the arms back out and up. We're going to do a little bit of a flow here. So come to the top of your mat if you're not already. And you're going to keep your right leg down to the earth, lift your left leg. This is where you also might want to come to a wall. Make sure you have a wall handy. If balance is a little funky for you today, then make sure you are standing by a wall for that. So weight is going to be into your right leg. You're going to lift your left leg off of the earth, and then you're going to take a big step back into crescent lunge. Okay, so the back heel is lifted. Your hips are nice and squared. You can always bring a soft bend into that back knee. Inhale, bring the arms back out to that cactus, just like we did a couple times already. Inhale and exhale, twist to your, let's say, we'll twist to our left first. Okay, inhale out, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, twist. Last round, inhale and twist. And inhale, use the exhale to twist. Inhale, open it out. We're just going to come into warrior two. We're not going to do too many standing poses. I know this is like a nice slow flow, but I always love to do warriors because they allow us to tap into that inner warrior essence of us, of ourselves when we need it. And especially when we're trying to tap into our intuition and that inner power of ours. So your hands can go wherever feels good, hips, heart, shoulders, out to the sides, totally up to you. Nice deep bend into that right knee. And really look down, make sure you can see your big right toe. So the knee is kind of going a little bit more out towards your right pinky toe. Take your right hand to your shoulder, left hand down, exalt. Breathe into that right side body. Inhale back to warrior two. Take and turn the toes, and then we're going to come into goddess pose. Heels in, toes out, and drop the arms down. Let's flow. Inhale, arms reach as high as they can go. Exhale, bend back into those knees. Again, inhale, lift, straighten the legs, arms reach. Exhale, take it back down. Last one, inhale and exhale. Inhale, arms will reach. Turn the feet to parallel, and then exhale, slowly lower down to a wide-legged forward fold. Now, I'm gonna kind of just not want to go all the way down, me personally, to right now. So I'm going to take my hand or hands to your block or blocks, right? And you can even wiggle out those hips just a little bit. I love wiggling the hips, creating a little bit of space there. But if you do want to go all the way down to the forward fold, you certainly can do that as well. Again, as long as your body is speaking that it's okay. Take another breath or two here. And then we'll inhale. Slowly soft bend to the knee and slowly come all the way up to stand. We're going to come back to that crescent lunge where we just were. So back to the top of the mat, bending into that right knee, back heel is going to peel off of the earth. Take your blocks right out in front of you. Okay. And so this time you're going to shift your weight onto that right foot and lift that left leg off of the earth. Modified warrior 3. And then we're going to inhale here. You can certainly take full warrior 3 with hands to heart if you need or choose to or would like to. And then we're going to step that left foot to meet your right. And let's come into a Malasana Yogi squat. So walk your feet out. I'll show you from front view. Heels in, toes out. And if you want to, you can certainly sit on a block on any level, right? I'll sit it this way. There we go. And your feet are about wider than hip distance. Your heels are in, toes are out, and just kind of let your hands hang inside of the knees. Okay. So you're just kind of, this is the restorative version of it. You can do it off of the block. Might be a little intense if you're feeling really achy in your joints, but you can always bring your hands to your heart and just kind of let your body, your tailbone, your pelvis kind of float down towards the earth. Nice opening through the inner thighs and the pelvis. And close your eyes. Take a few breaths here. Heart is pulling forward, shoulder heads are pulling back. And coming into that very grounding essence once again. As the breath flows in and out, you have no choice but to be here, be in the experience of the shape, of the feels. And then release the hands to the earth and just take a nice little fold. Just straighten the legs as much as you can. Drop the body down as much as you can. And then slowly roll all the way up. And if it feels good, once again, reach the arms overhead. Exhale to your heart space. Okay. So walking your feet back to hip distance. Okay. So this time now I'm going to show you from this way because it's easier. Your left leg is going to stay down. Okay. Hands can be to hips, wall, or heart. You're going to pull your right leg up and in. Okay. And on that right leg, you're going to step it all the way back to your high crescent lunge. So right leg comes all the way back, heels lifted, soft bend to the back knee. If that feels accessible, you can straighten it, but feel the tailbone float to the earth. Hands to hips, heart, or reach them up to the ceiling. And then we'll take those cactus arms once again. Those 3 twists. We'll inhale, we'll twist to the right first. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale. And you don't have to go all the way through. Even if you just kind of want to keep the arms separate, you can do that as well. I know this is going to be, keep going, a little challenging to your balance. Inhale. And that's where you can always use the wall if you need to. And then last one here, exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, come back to center. Open it out to warrior 2. So palms face down, bend deeply into that left knee, thigh bone pointing more towards your pinky toe rather than the big toe, belly engaged, looking down past those left fingertips. Breathe in and out. Left hand to your shoulder or reach it up as that right arm floats down the leg for the exalted warrior. Breathing into the left side, the left part of the rib cage here. And then inhale to lift. Let's come back to that beautiful goddess. So face the side of your mat, heels in, toes out, and knees going out towards your pinky toes rather than inward towards your big toe, right? Rounding down a little bit more through the outer blades of the feet. Let's move and flow. Inhale, reach the arms as much as you can as you straighten the legs. Exhale, take it down to your goddess flow. Inhale, rise. Exhale down. One more inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift. Turn your feet back to parallel. Exhale, lower the hands down. Another wide leg forward fold or hands to your blocks. Maybe wiggle the hips, maybe sway the body, or just appreciate the wide leg forward fold. We won't be here for too long, as we'll bring a soft bend to the knees. Either catch your hands to your hips and kind of guide your way all the way up to stand or reverse your swan dive. We're going to come back to the top of the mat, back into that high crescent lunge. And then you're going to take your block or your blocks out in front of you. Okay, so we're like down to a hovering lunge here. Walk them out and shift your weight onto that left foot to lift the right leg off of the earth. Modified warrior three, or bring your hands to your heart and take the fuller variation. Inhale, step that right foot up to meet your left foot. Exhale and bow down. Inhale, this time halfway lift, drop down to your knees and sit back to your child's pose or to that kneeling position. Taking a moment to bring ourselves back down. Maybe wiggle those hips in that child's pose, kind of bring this sense of soothing movement to the body. And then we'll inhale, slowly come up to a comfortable seat, shifting your weight off to one side or the other and extending those legs straight out in front of you. So if it feels okay, you can move your glutes out from underneath you, allowing the sits bones to ground down to the earth. We'll inhale to lift and stack the spine, and then we'll exhale to hinge forward, coming into a seated forward fold. This, again, is where we can use the strap, taking the strap around the ball of the foot and kind of guiding those toes back and leaning with your heart to take a deeper fold. If you have the extension in the legs and you want to, you can also take a block, rest it to the arches of your feet, and reach further, creating a little bit more extension. But close the eyes. Take a few more breaths here. Allowing the body to simply surrender and relax into it, not forcing the stretch. And then inhale, slowly lift the body once again, remove the props, and then we're going to exhale, slowly lower down to your back. So, however you need to get to, okay? And we're going to actually take a block onto the mid level and we're going to rest our head onto this. Again, if this doesn't feel good in your body, you can also just do it with a pillow and we can see how that feels for you. But if you can, the block is really going to be much more helpful as we're going to do a little fascia work here. So you're going to basically take the block on the mid level and you're going to rest it just underneath where the skull ends, that occipital ridge of your skull, right? So find where that is. It's kind of like the hairline. And then you're going to rest the kind of basically the edge of the block right there. Okay. And your hands can just kind of again go wherever feels comfortable to you. I love to knock my knees in to kind of give my low back a little love here. And when you get there, just really allow the chin to drop down. And just take a few moments here No need to force, just let the body surrender. Coming back to the fluidity of the breath, the intentional breaths. Inhaling and exhaling in and out through the nose. And then on the next inhale, I want you to take your gaze all the way over, tilt your head all the way over to the right. Okay. And then just come back like a little quarter of the way. So you really feel kind of just the right side of that neck. There's a little trigger point, there's a little acupressure point there. And you can kind of just stay and hang out just behind that right ear, or you can kind of create little circles with your nose, circling a few in one direction, massaging that area there, maybe reversing your circles whenever it feels intuitively right. Nice, slow, calming movements here. And maybe you like to just stay still and just kind of soften the shoulders, the neck, even the lower body. If there's any tension creeping up, soften and release it. Take another breath or two here. I'm always just looking to find a sensation that feels helpful, right? So sometimes we get into some of these pressure points and they may feel a little too intense. That's not what we're looking for. We want to feel it, but not to where you can't hold it and appreciate it and enjoy it. Now, inhale, come back to center. Remove the block out from underneath your head and just melt the head down for a moment. And just take a moment to be in the experience of it. Notice how it feels, tingling, or whatever it is that you're experiencing. Maybe a temperature change, maybe a heaviness or a lightness to one side or the other. And expand your curiosity to other parts of the body. Maybe there's a new sensation you're feeling in the shin or the arm or the back. And then let's do that on the other side. Let's take that block mid level, place it right at that occipital ridge, right? The base of the skull. Should feel pretty comfortable. And then we'll take the ear all or the gaze all the way over to the left, keeping both shoulders ground, and then just come back like a smidge. So you're really kind of feeling towards the left side, just behind the ear. Look for that helpful sensation and point. And either stay there in the stillness or like you're drawing circles with your nose, just start to circle it around. Whenever you're ready, you can also switch out the circles and go in the opposite direction. Eventually finding stillness. And inhale, slowly start to come back to center. Remove the block and once again lie back, head to the earth. Take a moment, be in the experience. Notice the difference than when you first started this movement? And then when you feel ready, set ourselves up for our Shavasana. So again, bringing yourself into any comfortable position. That could be legs up the wall, that Supta Baddha Konasana reclined butterfly with or without those blocks, or traditional Shavasana. Go ahead and take up the space that you deserve and get yourself into that comfortable position. As you close your eyes, remind yourself that the stillness is a reset. It is a chance to absorb and receive all of the benefits of this beautiful practice. So gift yourself this time to be still, even just for a few moments, relaxing, surrendering, and being. Welcome to your Shavasana. And slowly, in your own time, start to come back to your breath. If you need to stay a little longer in Shavasana, maybe pause me and come back to life whenever you feel called to. But we're going to slowly awaken, breathing movement back into our bodies, breathing the energy back in. Start to organically move, deepening the breath. And then once again, rolling to one side or the other. Rest there in this fetal position for a moment, allowing the re-entry back to life in this world be slow, mindful, and intentional. Whenever you are ready, taking your time to find a comfortable seat once again. Keeping the eyes closed, either letting the palms rest into your lap or bring them to your heart space. And smile to your face, take a moment or two, and just be in the experience of all the feels right here, right now. Feeling grateful for showing up for yourself, feeling grateful for the opportunity to connect to our bodies and to move our bodies, and to be compassionate enough to once again love our bodies. From my heart to yours. Until next time, namaste.